life are in the power of the tongue. And those who love it will eat its fruit thereof. That's in Proverbs 18, verse 21. There are many careless words. In fact, when I look back, there have been many words that I have spoken when I was not born again. And these words were not even thought it will just come out of your mouth. Ay, kabayo, ay. Ay. These are words that you don't even think about it, it will just come out. Sometimes you realize, why is it? It's because it's really in our heart. The careless words of a tongue release a deadly venom. The words of a tale-bearer or a gossiper or a slanderer are like tasty trifles, because they're very tasty to hear and you want to hear it. And the tendency is that when you start hearing all these words, you now become a trust bug, because you're receiving all the trust on other people's lives. You become a trust collector. Let us always be alert and separate ourselves from all associations that would jeopardize our God-given usefulness to others by blessing them instead of cursing them. The tongue has a moral and spiritual healing influence. Do you believe that? The tongue has a moral and spiritual influence or healing influence. Every morning when you wake up and you feel tired and you confess and say, I am sick, I cannot work today because I'm not feeling well, you already made a confession for the day. And when you do that, then you will notice that the other parts of your body will try to realign of what you have said. You will have headache, you will have joint pains, and all of these are imagined, although sometimes it's really real, but because of the words, it affects your total being. Jesus said, not what goes into the mouth defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth defiles the man. Meaning the dirty and the unclean words. That's in Matthew 15, verse 11. And the tongue of a liar strips a man of what makes life beautiful. Amen. And it takes away his good name and breaks bonds of friendship. In contrast, wise and kind words help heal the wounded spirit. Kind words will help the wounded spirit. The tongue should be an instrument of life. It should not be an instrument of death. Amen?
Amen.
The tongue that is controlled by the Holy Spirit becomes an instrument of imparting life and truth to others. In James chapter 3, verse 5. James 3:5 tells us the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your whole body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself. A lying tongue destroys trust in another person's word, for it is set on fire, and to destroy characters and lives of other people. Just imagine how this works. We don't realize that our heart and the tongue is connected. There is a connection between the heart and the tongue. And you will notice that when you continue to think what you think, it affects your words. That's why, first and foremost, we have to consider our mindset. Our mindset is, what are really the words that are coming out of our mouth? So it means that it started from your mindset, it affects your heart, and then it affects your words, it affects your actions, it affects your behavior, and it affects your influence in the lives of others. And today, we realize that there is a seriousness when Jesus Christ spoke in Matthew chapter 12, verse 34 to 37. In Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22, the Lord detests lying lips, but delights in those who tell the truth. And we know that Satan is the author of lies. Because he is a liar from the very beginning. When he tempted Adam and Eve, he was lying. And Eve was deceived because of the lying of Satan. And so it is important for us that a person should really try to see what is really coming out of his or her mouth. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 3, as you know, the book of Ecclesiastes is a book of wisdom and written by Solomon. And this is what he said. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3, fool's voice is known by many words. In other words, Solomon was saying many words will reflect who you are. And that's why I remember a saying in the Philippines, no talk, no mistake.
Less talk, less mistake.
Less talk, less mistake. More talk, more mistakes.
Sabi ng inchik yun.
This is what Solomon was saying. The things we see and hear, especially in this world, they're evil and they're trying to deceive us, and it is stored in our minds and are often used by Satan to tempt us to sin. That's why our mind is very important. In Romans chapter 12 verse 2, the Bible is very clear. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When we were not born again, our minds were filled with garbage and trash. Our mind is like a computer. It's like a software. It is programmed, and whatever is programmed in your mind will always come out. What comes in, goes out. Geigo. Garbage in, garbage out. And so it's important for us to realize that the origin of all of these things, that words that are coming out of our mouth, starts from the heart. In verse 37, words will justify or condemn. Of Matthew chapter 12, verse 37. Words will justify or condemn.